How's everybody doing tonight? We got the ROKR submachine gun, which is from the Justice Guard series. It looks like the way we've been building this, first night all we did was open the box. Second night we did this section. Third night we did this section. It seems like we're just building it like back to front. I don't know. Let's see how it goes today. I probably should have took this stuff out of the box. We're talking about fitness. We talked about on the first night walking, on the second night yoga. Maybe we should talk about weightlifting tonight. Or maybe I should call it strength training. Because you don't have to lift weights. You could lift like, you could push against an immovable object. There's a word for that. Might be isometric, I'm not sure. You could use elastic bands, which have some motion. You could do body weight exercises, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, squats. There's a body weight exercise. There's a lot of stuff you can do. Anyway, for right this moment, what we're going to do is take a look at the instruction manual. I recall we're still on segment 1, day 4, segment 1, which is crazy. But, yeah, I think we did that. Did we stop here? There's like a lot going on. And I think that kind of intimidated us into stopping. I'm just making sure. Yeah, I think we did this. So then this is up next. There's a lot going on here. I have to like read what this says here. The spring should be flexible, so do not tighten the screw. Okay, so leave the screw a little bit, a couple of threads up out of the screw. Use the tool to assemble the shaft sleeves. I don't know. I haven't seen the tool. I guess it's maybe in one of these boards. I don't know. I haven't seen the tool anywhere. If I see it, I'll grab it. They're making it seem like we need it, so I don't know. I guess I'll find the tool. Assemble the shaft sleeves. What is a shaft sleeve? See, this is why we stopped last night. Wax the yellow parts, front and rear arc positions. Yeah, what the hell is going on? This panel is going to take a minute. I mean, I don't even know. It's going to take me a while to understand here. There's a spring, but there's something else. Like what is this? This thing looks like, the thing below it looks like the logo to my page, but all right, 20 millimeter P9. I don't know what that is. What do we do with it? Okay, I see the spring. It's a certain type of spring. And here's that bar. So that's probably that P9. Actually, it's kind of going to go through the spring, I think. Maybe. I'm telling you, there's a lot going on this panel. Let's start with something that I think is kind of like something we can control here. There's a little section in the middle. Like inside of the panel is a little cutout. And even this little cutout has a lot of pieces. J9, A23, J13, G6. And then it's got a spring and a screw, which is P4 and P12. And it's got a note, pay attention to the arrow direction. So we're going to start with that little section there. I don't really know what to call it. By the way, I was watching the Jaguars play the, I don't know, they had a fleur-de-lis. It was, they had like gold and black uniforms. Drew Brees used to play for them. I don't know. Anyway, Jacksonville was playing I think it was like 24-15 when I switched to start the stream. It had basically just gotten interesting. The Saints, I don't know how I forgot that name. It's the same name as the team I root for, the Siena Saints. Anyway, the New Orleans Saints, they had like a backup kind of running back, quarterback. And so the main quarterback was this guy Carr. I don't know what he does on other weeks, but he didn't do jack shit tonight. But they had this backup quarterback, and every time he would come in, they would give him the ball, and he would run it, and he would get the first down. And then they would take him out of the game, and they would put Carr back in. And then if he didn't get the first down, they would leave him in for a next play. He'd run again, and he'd get the first down. So it was like obvious that every time they're putting this guy in, they're going to run the ball. But it fooled the Jaguar defense every single time. They didn't stop him. He just kept running it in. So anyway, he had just scored a touchdown, that backup quarterback, like right when I turned off the TV. So I kind of wanted to see that. I don't mind if you watch that. Go ahead, enjoy. You can always listen to this later after the game. All right, so the 823. Oh, I forgot to zoom this in. All right, let's do that. Okay. I believe this is the A23. Yeah, on the camera I can see it. With my eyes, it looks like mud. So it's printed small, and it's got like an arrow going through it, but that's the A23. And we didn't tally these pieces yet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So that's going to bring us to 57 pieces total. All right. J13. Is that the only piece from A? That's the only piece from A. That is the B sheet. J13. It looks like G6. Yeah. I just picked this up because it looked like this was in the pile of like spare parts over here, but it looked like a part we needed, and indeed it was. It's the G6. Just happened to be in that pile of spare parts. And I happened to just look over there and see it. But we're still looking for J13? Yeah, it's another one of these pieces with an arrow on it, I think. Yeah, J13's got a little arrow on it. I think it's a distinct piece. Well, I guess it is a distinct piece, but I understand why they put the arrow. The slits are a little off-center, so if they don't put the arrow in, if you mess up, you'll be mad. You know, it's like they either put the arrow or they say, like, be careful. I wonder if this piece is broken. Why is it open at this end? Anyway, it now goes on the scrap pile. I don't know if you even saw that. There's a piece that, like, fell out and it's, like, open here. I don't think it's broken, but it goes on the scrap pile now. All right, so there's the 4, like, wooden pieces that we need. They also need a spring and a screw. So the P12 will probably be in a bag with a bunch of other P12s. There's P13, P16, P14. Let me grab the screwdrivers. P14, P15, P12, the last one. So there's the P12. 19 pieces. 5 millimeter. Is 2 millimeter the like diameter and 5 millimeter the length? I'm not really sure. Anyway, we just need one of these. Oh my goodness. Well, that plastic is now on the floor. I tried to throw it out, but the like static cling made it stick to my finger. I just got a text. Could be my son who's away at college. And if so, I'll text back and say go to the chat on my stream. Hold on a second while I check the text. Yeah, so it was my son. Maybe he will show up on the chat. I didn't ask him to, but he might think of it. But anyway, he was talking about yesterday, because I text him the workout each day, and I said like T-bar rows, and he said T-bar rows are fun. He texted that yesterday, and then today he texted and said, oh, they have a T-bar row machine here. I didn't need to build my own yesterday. And I was like, oh, you should have. I wish I could have seen the one you built and the one that's there. I was like, that would have been some funny pictures, let's see it. But then I said, well, you live, you learn, And he replied, which was a very good reply, you live, you learn, you lift. Just carrying on the alliteration. I'm looking in here for the spring that they labeled P4. I thought I saw it for a second. Are there any other bags here? No, it's got to be in this bag, right? I think that's it. Let's see if that's the right number of millimeters. The reason why I think this is it has these like end hooks or whatever you want to call it. These like circles on the end. Yeah, that's probably why they said like don't screw it on too tight, because then those circles won't have movement. So this is longer than the screw, probably twice as long, not counting the circles. So this P4, what is that supposed to be? How many millimeters does it say? It doesn't say. Should we just assume that this is P4? Or should we measure it? There's, man, that thing is tiny. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to the page where it explains the pieces. Did I photograph that? I did. P4, oh, it doesn't say the millimeters. Why the hell? Why is P4 the only piece where it doesn't tell you the millimeters? This is P4. Okay. Another way we can do it is we can look at the other springs. Yeah, that's the only one with circles at the end. It's the only spring with extra circles at the end. So that means that that this is P4. This is P4. It's such a little nothing. But that's it. That's the piece we need, apparently. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're finally ready to go. We're building some really micro miniature something here. Which means it's probably going to have something to do with the mechanics, with the firing mechanism of this weapon, this submachine gun, which means it's pretty important. In fact, I think I know exactly what we're working on. I mean, what does that look like to you? That looks to me like the trigger of the weapon. So probably this circle is going to rotate on the circle. This circle is probably going to attach to the spring because it's going to stretch. And then this one is probably going to pull something down. And that something is going to release the cartridge or the rubber band or whatever. I mean, I'm just looking at this and guessing how this trigger might work. Anyway, let's start assembling it. So we start with the trigger. And now they want A23. A23 they want to arrow down into the trigger. Apologies for this extreme close-up. Honestly, I can't see these pieces other than using this camera and this extreme close-up. Oh, so about weightlifting. It makes you stronger, but it's also cardio. If you've never lifted, you probably don't know this, but weightlifting is cardio. It's like you really use your heart and lungs and vascular system when you're lifting. All right, so this screw goes through this spring, like sort of with the circle part laying flat at the bottom. So that's the way I put it in. And then it's going to screw into this to this trigger piece. I think that was an assumption that we don't screw it all the way down. I think for this piece you can screw it all the way down. I think it was another piece where you don't screw it all the way down. This one I think you do. Look at the size of this screwdriver. Alright, I'm screwing that piece down. Oh, actually, it's... wow, did I screw it too far? The thing is, I don't know where it goes. I can back it out a little bit if I need to, because that thing really doesn't move, but I don't know where it's supposed to be, you know? Like, I don't know how it's supposed to... When we see where this gets attached to something else, then we potentially can loosen that nut, that bolt, screw, turn the spring, and then tighten it back down. But right now, we don't know. All right. So, weightlifting, it burns fat. Like every moment when you're walking around, because you gain muscle as a result of weightlifting, and now every action you do, you weigh more. Every just body maintenance takes more calories. I don't know, some people might see that as a bad thing, like maybe it taxes your heart more. Like I think there even are some cases of these extreme bodybuilding weightlifters who have health problems because they got so big doing lifting. But I think for the average person, you're just creating a little extra store, you're instead of storing up fat, you're storing up muscle. It helps with your posture. It helps with running, jumping, throwing. But of course you have to lift smart, You have to lift in a way that you maintain your flexibility, maintain your stamina, maintain your speed. You don't want to become one of those people who can't move because they have bulky muscles everywhere. All right, so we built this little thing here. Probably it's a trigger. Whatever it is, we built it. Now, there's a little arrow showing where that goes. And where that goes is into this main body here. You see that little cutout there? That's I don't know if you even can see the cutout. It's there. Let's try this angle. Well, it's tough to see, but it's there. See that cutout? That's kind of where it's going to go. Does it fit right in there? Seems like it does. Yeah. So that's basically where the trigger is going to go. Is that spring going to reach here? I don't know. I just kind of looked where it was going first. So, yeah, that's spring. No, you know what? I'm kind of wrong. It goes up here, actually. It goes up here. The first way I told you was wrong. The spring goes here. The spring gets tied in there. The trigger goes way up here. Is that right? Yeah. I mean, it looks right, doesn't it? And then this spring goes in. This spring gets screwed in down there. So let's see what pieces we need to make that happen. We're going to put the bar through. Remember that 20 millimeter bar? We're going to put that through. That's piece P9. We're going to put washers at each end, but these washers are going to function like nuts. Really, they're just little plastic discs, but they're going to create enough friction to keep that bar in place. And then we need another screw for the other half of the spring. So we're not putting a single wooden piece in at this moment. We're putting in 2 plastic washers, a metal rod, and a metal screw. So that's 4 pieces. 2 P5s, a P9, and P12. So let's do it. 4 pieces. That brings us to 61 total pieces. This is 200. It's going to be 275 pieces when we're complete. All right, so 2 P5s, P12, another P. We just did a P12 last time. So we need another P12. And then the P9 is 20 millimeters. If you've got the book open or the piece of paper open, you can just measure. Basically, there's a real size picture of that P9, and you just match it. You just match it up. I just put the rod on top of the book. Let me see if it matches up. Oh man, I can't get this screw back in the bag. If I don't get it on this attempt, yeah, I'm just going to drop it in here. It's probably not even important. Probably gave us an extra. All right, these should be the P5s. They don't say P5 on them, but what the hell else are they? I'll just give you... Those are the P5s, right? Like, what else could they possibly be? All right, so 2 P5s. So another thing that weightlifting does for you is, especially if you do it right, aesthetic. Muscles look good on your frame. Maybe not too many, but the correct amount of muscle. There's the rod. We still need the rod. So the rod is going to be 20 millimeters. I always push the wrong one. All right, 20 millimeters. Here we go. $20 millimeters. We're looking for a rod that size. By the way, this tiny screwdriver, the head on that screwdriver is 20 millimeters. Not the head, the shaft, whatever you want to call it. All right, so we're looking for a piece that's 20 millimeters. I think that's 20 millimeters. That rod right there. Think I can get the right rod out, or you think I'm getting the wrong one? There's different sizes in there. I think I got the right one. Yeah, I think that's 20 millimeters. All right. So I think the way to do these two washers is to put one of them on first. Wow. Lucky it didn't go flying. Like, put one on first. If I can. Not easy. Oh my goodness. Not even close to easy. Alright, I'm going to try turning it. Will that work? That didn't work. Well, I guess it's going to stay on good once I get it on, because I can't even get it on. Alright, one end in. So the reason I put one end on, and then I'll pass it through wherever it's supposed to go. And then the other end. Weren't they saying something about using some tool? Not yet, though. We don't need it yet. But there's some tool we were supposed to pick out for this section. Alright, I got that flush. You can see the metal coming through. So that's flush now. Alright, now what do we do with this thing? We're going to drop it through the top of this. You see that hole there? So we drop it through there. And hopefully it comes out the other end. So far as... Oh yeah, I see it. You can see the metal in there. It's going to come out. Wow. Okay. So now... You see that hole there? Down at the bottom? That's where it's going. Alright. Let's flip it around. Oh. That's tricky. There it is, but it's inside of this thing. That's, we probably should have put the bottom end in first. Alright. Time to call an audible. We're going to push this out. It's easier, in my opinion, to put it in from this side first. Yeah. Put that side in first. I think that's going to be easier. I'm going to put this underneath just as a backstop. Well, let's try again to get this on. It'll be tougher to do, but easier than the alternative. Alright, so there it is coming out the top. Now we have to get the other thing that looks like a washer, but is actually a bolt. A nut, sorry. Alright, so that's on. So that was definitely the way to do it. Put this one in first. Alright, now we just got to screw this down. Might be easier said than done. I think the screw needs to be screwed. The spring needs to be screwed down. I believe this screw is magnetic. Oh, well, I thought it was magnetic. Alright, let's try the other screwdriver. Yeah, the other screwdriver has stronger magnetics, but still not enough. Alright, I don't know how we're going to get this in. Let me grab a needle nose plier, see if that helps. It may not. Sometimes it just throws the piece around. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The round heads, if they would have like hexagon heads on these screws, they would be easier to grab with the needle nose plier, but they have like round heads, which means you can't grip them well. Maybe there's like a secret that I don't know, but I can't grip them well. All right, I'm going to grip from the middle because that's the only place I can grip. Try to get it in there. All right, I'll get it started here. And then I'll line it up. It's not happening. I think I again need the close-up camera to see what I'm doing. All right, get the screw through the spring. Screw through the spring. All right. Do that. Go in there. Get in there. It's not happening. That's supposed to be the easy part. Why is it not going in? Did I pick the wrong screw or something? Oh, it's in. Okay. Now, once it's in, wow, it fell out. Once it's in, I need to screw it onto that hole, but it was like so far away. Yeah, this is not easy. All right, let's drop it in there first. So weightlifting, you can do strength training. You can do you can pick any piece of equipment, like a single dumbbell or a single medicine ball, and do a full body workout with it. You also can use like any piece of equipment at the gym. That's not always safe. You're not always using the recommended. I think the medicine ball and the dumbbell are safe, but the piece of equipment at the gym, some of them are marketed that you can do a lot of things with them. Some of them are like, caution, only use it in this way, or you're whatever, gonna get hurt. Oh my goodness. I thought I had that spring, but obviously I didn't. And now it's like jammed in there. It's like getting worse and worse. All right. Because the trigger moves. I feel like I need to lock it in place for a second until I get it screwed in. Should we have screwed it into the spring first? Oh, it's off. I'm off camera. It's tough to do it on that close-up camera, but basically this thing is not lined up. And I kind of thinking like, should we have put the spring in first? Would that have been easier? Before we put the pole through the other thing. Yeah, it keeps falling back out. It's like if I try to put it in with my fingers, it like sticks to my fingers or something. And now I dropped the screw. I'm going to take a new screw. I can't find that one. All right, so the P12, yeah. I mean, this is the trigger of the gun. So there's no not doing this. Not doing it is not an option. We must get this in. But my fingers are too big to do it. All right. I have to get it in one move, I think. One move, we get it through the hole and screwed into the thing. Now I have to get the screwdriver on top. I might have gotten it. I'm not sure. Let's get the close-up camera so we can see what's going on here. I think I got it. Is it in there? Does it look like it's in? I can't see. I think it's in. Wow, I can't believe that. All I did was I grabbed the screw with the needle nose and I tried to stick it in the middle and then stretch it out so I can get it with the screwdriver. And I was thinking like I'm going to make 100 attempts before it works. But I actually got it on the first attempt. So maybe that's the way to go, you know? So I think that's in. Yeah. Yeah, we now have a trigger. It's not very strong. It's extremely weak spring. But I guess there'll be more going on. But at least it goes back to its starting spot now. And we're still on this one panel. All night we've been working on this one panel. 36 minutes on one panel. We're almost done with this panel. Are we? I'm not even sure, to be honest. Oh, that tool. Okay, shaft sleeves. So those things I was calling washers were shaft sleeves. And by the way, I see the tool. I again just spotted it on this junk pile on the left. So here's the tool. We already did the shaft sleeves, but I'll have it for next time. These look like maybe the pieces we need next. They are. Yeah. They're exactly the pieces we need. E1 and E6 and E4 and E5. Those are exactly the pieces we need. And then also G9 times 2. I'm not sure what that's all about, but G9 times 2. All right, so that brings us to 67 pieces. I think the G9s are going to hold all this stuff together. So it was, again, sitting over on that pile of pieces. And there's some instructions there, like 1 and 2. Oh, you didn't even see. I was like, I found this piece, and the G1, the E1 and E6, and the E4 and E5 were sitting there. This was on the pile, on the scrap heap of pieces. It was like sitting on top. Just happened to have the pieces we need. It's been that night in terms of finding pieces. They're just, everything we need is just right there. Will the G9s be? If they would be, then these would probably be G9s. Nope, those are F7s. All right. Let's look for the G sheet. We need 2 G9s. That's the J's. B's. H. A. I think these are I's. Can't really see them. All right, here's the G's. We need 2 G9s. Those are the G9s. It's a much bigger piece than I was thinking it would be. But let's see how it works here. So it says to do this one first. The E4 and E5. We're supposed to do that first. So I guess it goes together like this. And then we like spin it around because inside out, right? And then how does this work? The G9. Why does the G9s have all this crap stuck to them? All right, let's get the crap off of the G9s. Okay. Let's zoom in on the picture here. How do those G9s work? Oh, they just go in the middle there? Do they just barely fit? Is that the plan? They like barely fit in here? No, they fit plenty in there. I don't know. I don't know what they want from us. But I know that these G9s hold these other pieces together. Like the top and the side and top to top. Top to bottom and side to side. These G9s are going to hold everything together. All right, let's start with just one piece. There we go. And then the other piece should go right to the edge, to the end of this piece. Yeah, there we go. And the other G9 should go on the other side, right? Just right in those slots. Okay. Now, I think we're supposed to put this down here, right? It doesn't go all the way through. Do I need to like push it through? Yeah. Yeah, it takes a little, but oh, there's pins. Okay, there's pins down here. Got to push it onto the pins. Okay. And then up top, everything should line up. The two G9s and the 4 pins. Let's see. So, yeah, like that, right? What's the problem here? Okay. That last one was not going on. Now it's on. All right. Let's get this one on too. The E6 piece. What else about weightlifting? Oh. It's social. Because you never lift weights alone. You always have someone with you. And not only is it social because you bring someone with you, if you don't bring someone with you, you talk to the other people in the gym. You say, can I work in with you? Can I get a spot? How's it going, buddy? Or, you know, sometimes you just introduce yourself to make it less awkward. You know, the other people in the gym, when they need something, now they know your name and they could ask you. All right. We're still on segment 1 of the instructions, but we're going to do something cool. We're putting on pieces I3 and I5, and those are like textured brown colored pieces. And those are going to be kept on with P16. So we need 4 P16s and then I5 and I3. So that's 6 pieces. So we're going to be at 73 pieces now. 73 pieces. All right. So I3 and I5. Again, it's tough to read this piece. There's I5, right? Is that I5? Yeah. And then is this I3? It is I3. Still uncertain. I think that's etched, but still uncertain. All right. So here's the pieces. And you could see the holes in the middle. That's where the screws are going to go. And I think those screws are kind of part of the decoration. I mean, I think a gun would have that look, would have screws of that look on it. This is a 3, this is the 5. Although they'll only go on one way, so I don't think you can mess them up. And then the P16s, we've got a bag of P16s here. We need 4 of them. They're huge. Not in length, but the heads are huge. Basically, as I was mentioning, they're part of the look. They're part of making the gun look cool. What's going on here? I knocked out... There's 6 of them on the table, and I dropped one of them on the floor. I don't know how I managed that. I was really over-exuberant with those P16s. Alright, so they just go the way that they fit, I guess. Like that one fits there, so that's where it goes. So textured side up. There's actually not much texture to it. You can feel it at the edges, not in the middle. Anyway, let's get it on there. Is that going in? I don't think so. So it goes in between those pieces that we just put on. I don't know, it feels like it's in to me, but then I go and screw it in and nothing happens. It feels like it's screwing in. Yeah, I think so. All right. There we go. Screwed in. I think so anyway. That looks pretty cool. I mean, the AK-47 doesn't look that cool. But for some reason, the AK-47 is a super popular puzzle. And I don't think anyone is doing this submachine gun. Is it just because it doesn't have a cool name? Like submachine gun versus AK-47? Like there's like not enough history. You know, you call it submachine gun, and maybe they should have called it Tommy gun. Like maybe that would have done better. I don't know. This is a Tommy gun, right? It looks like something Al Capone would have at the, I don't know, during the Prohibition era. I think so. I'm not sure. There we go. So we got this like nice inlay here with these nice screws, and we've got the rose. I don't know. I think it looks pretty cool. It's coming along slowly, but it's happening. All right, what's next? More tiny pieces, and then including another spring. A13, J14, and the spring known as P2, which is a 10 millimeter spring. So that's 3 pieces, brings us up to 76 pieces. And we need to find a spring that's 10 millimeters. I guess 10 millimeters is half of 20 millimeters, but it looks smaller. It looks really tiny. All right, so we need a 10 millimeter spring, and we need J14. The 10 millimeter spring is P2. We also need J14 and A13. A13 is basically a pin. There's A13. J14. I think a lot of J pieces have fallen out prematurely. But let's see. H. I don't know. Alright, here's J. J14. J14 is a tiny piece. Probably didn't fall out prematurely. There it is, J14. And then we need P2, which is a tiny spring. Yeah, I see some tiny springs in there. I see another one of that spring with the circles on the end, but that's not what we need at the moment. At the moment, we need a 10 millimeter spring. Is that 10 millimeters? The calipers are magnetic. That's smaller than 10 millimeters. Let's see if we can find a spring that's larger than that. By the way, what was that screw they said not to screw all the way down? Was that the trigger one? That's 10 millimeter screw. So you can see them there. I guess that's a 5 millimeter screw. Let's go back, spring, not screw, spring. Let's go back to the page that had the key. All right, 10, yeah, there's a P2 is a 10 millimeter spring and P3 is a 5 millimeter spring. So there's 5 millimeter springs. I don't know when we're going to use them, but they exist. What is going on? I suddenly can't find the page. Okay, here it is. All right, so the A. Where's the spring goes in the top? It's just going to fall out. So the spring just goes, just sticks in there? That's ridiculous. All right, A13, J14, and then we just stick the spring in there. And I'm not even sure where we are. It's such like a close-up. All right. If we spin this over, turn it around. Yeah, right here. I think that's where we're going to be working. So the A13 drops down in there. Is that the right location? I think it is. It doesn't go in very far. And then the J14. Does that have any arrows on it or anything? I think it just drops on this way. Yeah, cool. Something will... Once we put something on the top, that spring will lock in. But for now, that spring looks like it's just going to sit in there, which means it could fall out. So I feel like we have to keep building because we don't want it to fall out. I have to keep building until it's like wedged in there by something, because right now there's the spring. It just kind of, I mean, it is kind of in there, but kind of not. Oh my goodness. I just broke the whole thing trying to play with that. Wow. Well, I don't think I broke any pieces, but I think stuff came apart that was supposed to stay together. Okay. I was trying to mess with that spring, but I'm not going to mess with it anymore because I'll break the gun if I do. All right. It looks not too bad. Okay. So it just keeps going. It just nothing is easy tonight. I don't even know what we're building there. It's 2 P5s. Those are the washers. P7, which is a rod of 10 millimeters. P7 is a 10 millimeter rod. And then P17, I think it's like a plastic piece. The best news here is it's going right next to the spring. So maybe the spring is going to like stay in. Anyway, it's 4 pieces. So we're up to 80 pieces now. All 4 of these pieces come from the bags. Nothing, no wood here. What? I think I lost track of some important pieces. Those like plastic pieces. I don't see them anymore. Where'd they go? I remember them the first night we were working on this. Did I put them in the scrap heap? Oh, here they are. In this bag. Alright. So P17. It's like a piece of plastic. That's P17. And then P7 is a 10 millimeter bar. We already have our calipers set to 10 millimeters, so hopefully this matches that size. Well, if it doesn't, then we just go find another that does. Let's see here. Looks a little big, honestly. Let's go see what our sizes are on bars. 10. There's a 7 millimeter bar. There's a 15 millimeter bar. So I don't think that's the right size bar. I think I gotta find one. Amazingly, on this computer, it does kind of look like it's the right one, but with my eyes, it doesn't look like the right one, so now I'm a little confused. Let's just grab some other bars. We're looking for the middle one, because there's a 7, a 15, and a 10. And then there's like the 20, which is definitely not it. But if we find one that's like 3 millimeters shorter and one that's 5 millimeters longer, then this is the right one. If we find two that are shorter, then it's the longer of the two shorter ones. Alright, so I think that's probably the 7. Alright. Though, maybe that's the 10, I don't know. Let's see. It looks like a 10, doesn't it? There's 1 7, 1 10, and 2 15s. So that's also a way to tell based on quantity in this bag. Alright. That's probably the 7. Yeah. That's got to be the 7. So then this is a 15 and that's a 10. Alright. So that middle one, that's the one we need. Now we need 2 of those. They were like a 5 or something. What was it called? P5 maybe? Not that. Alright, yeah, P5. There we go. I need 2 of these. Let's try that tool this time. There's supposed to be some tool for putting these things onto the bars. Alright, so here's the tool. I think maybe you line it up. Or is it the other way? I don't know how that tool works. Oh, maybe you push it through here first. And then it lines up. Let's try that. And then once you get it started, then push it down. Yep, that's good. That's in there. Now we still need to do this assembly. So those 2 are assembled. We have another one here. And that plastic piece. Oh my goodness. What did I do with that plastic piece? Gonna have to rewind the video and see what I did with it. Oh, it's right there. I don't know how I didn't see that. All right. So I'm still not sure what happens next. Does it just drop like into this hole? Let's try that. Seems to be what it does. So there's a hole in front of this spring. And I think we take this thing we built and we just drop it in there. And then once that's there, Then we take this P17 piece, and we got to hold it the correct way. So I think this is the correct way. So it's straight. Straight on the bottom, fat on the right, skinny on the left, curve in the back. I think that's how it goes. So that's going to just drop on here. That's the idea anyway. And that's going to hold that spring in. The spring is a little like pointed downward, which is why I was messing with it before. I think we need to like redo it or just like bend it or something. It's got to be straight. Right now it's like pointing down. I feel like it's not going to work like that. Tricky. Yeah. All right, so the spring wants to push that thing out. And we need to put the washer still. It's not a washer, but that's what I call it for some reason or another. This little piece. A little plastic circle. You can't even see it, but that's it. It's going to complete this section. All right, so now this is in there. I'm not sure what it is, and I'm not sure how well we placed it in there. I'll try to like make it tighter with this tool. I think that's it, right? Yeah, I think that's working. Yeah, what's next? Did we count that? I think we did. That was 4 pieces. Next, a single piece that's going to pin in everything that we need pinned in. J16, piece number 81. All right, is J16 on our scrap pile? No, I don't see it there. I see it on the board though. J16. I think we did a piece that looked like this on the other side. Like earlier, much earlier. By the way, these 4 J2s, they're the only things left on this J board. I feel like I should just toss them on the scrap pile and throw this board out. I'm going to do that. All right. 4 J2s are over there. This is done. We're done with the J board. All right, now this piece, J16, ink side up. They don't mention it in the instructions, but definitely this ink side should be up. I think they don't mention it because I don't think it's possible to do it incorrectly. All right, there's a lot of connectors here. You see that circle? That's that plastic piece we just put on like a second ago. The plastic piece is going to go in there. The piece next to it here. Anyway, let's just start doing it. You can kind of see how everything lines up. can't see if that circle is lined up or not. It's just like a dark hole. Black hole. Like a black hole. Come on. There we go. Did it go in? The spring looks a little like it's not straight. I don't know if that's like okay or not. Definitely this piece went in. So this spring here is a little bit slanted, but I think it's okay. Can these pieces go down further? I'm not sure if they can. Yeah, they can. Yeah. Now they're flush. How about this piece? It can go. It can and it did. All right. Good. Good. That is a nice spot to stop for the night. We've got everything together as one piece. If we're very close to starting segment 2, we are kind of close to starting segment 2. I think we should push on a little bit further. Let's see. One panel. It's a single piece. This panel. Assemble I-14. Yeah, no. Nope. I don't feel like doing another one of those tonight. So tomorrow we're still going to be on segment 1, but we'll get to segment 2 tomorrow for sure. I'm John Rapp. This is Just Rest Your Eyes. Good night and see you tomorrow.